Alright guys, this is my 2024 Hobonichi Cousin. I got a request because people were saying that the paper is not the same on this one as in the 2023. And I used my old one to swatch just because I didn't know what page I was going to use for this. But it doesn't matter. I'll find a page in here and I'll swatch on it. Let's see. So let's flip through the back and see if there's any random page in here I'm not going to use. Gifts to and from. That's probably a good page to swatch on, to be honest. We're probably not going to do that. Let me just look for a minute. What is this nonsense? Words to remember? Nope. This year. Graph paper. Ooh, there's only a couple of pages in the back, so let's use this like gifts page because I doubt I'm going to use that for anything. And that looks like a perfect place to swatch some pens. Although like it might be kind of hard to see on the other side, so let me. Didn't want to use one of the few blank pages to do it, but I guess I will. So I need to do it anyway. So let's see. Let's do some pen swatches in here and see what we got. So let me write on it, pen swatches. So here we go. That was my Hobonichi. Alright, actually no, sorry, that was my crap. What is this called? Signo pen. So let's see. See if the ghosting is about the same to me. So I don't see an issue with that. This time I'm going to use my yellow mild liner and my purple 673 Tombow. So, and this Tombow is called, this mild liner is called Gold. So I'm using that. Let's start off with the Hobonichi pen. Okay, and then I'm going to do a scribble, 2 scribbles, and then this will be the mild liner, and this will be the Tombow. Okay, and that'll be the same consistently throughout. So mild liner first and then Tombow. So let's see, here is the mild liner. Let's see how it does. I have no issue with it. It does not smear. And here is my purple Tombow. It does not smear. Now I'm going to keep open that same scribble page that I had in here before. I keep open a page in here to scribble on that I was using. I'll just use this other page because I'm going to clean my brushes off on the side there if they get dirty, because I'm assuming some of them are not going to work. So this Hobonichi pen, which this Uniball, I guess is what it is, Unipen. This did not smear either one, and you saw a road on it immediately. So I recommend that. They look fine to me. Let's look on the other side. I mean, it's ghosting, but it didn't bleed through. Let me see how the ghosting was on this one. I don't see any difference, really. I have to pull it up because I've got all that like color on that side. Okay, so maybe it does ghost a little extra. Yeah, it does ghost a little more, but I didn't actually use this pen on this paper, so let me scribble and see. So let's see. Hobonichi pen. Yeah, it's a little bit worse. I mean, I can see it's a little bit thinner. Yeah, but this didn't have graph on the back, so I don't know if that is affecting the way it looks or not, but I get what you're saying. Like I said, I'm just using a random page in here to scribble on in my 2023. So let's go back to here. Let's try our next pen. And this time I'm not going to swatch like every pen on the entire planet, because the ones that smeared last year, I'm assuming you're going to smear this year. So I'm trying the popular pens. So the next one that I know is really popular is the Sarasa Clip 0.5. So this is Sarasa Clip 0.5, because these are the most popular pens that people are using. So that's why I'm going to do those instead. So here we go. I have no idea why I have washi tape on this, but here's the mild liner. It did smear. Clean that off on the side here. And let's try the Tombow. The Tombow did smear my Sarasa 0.5. All right. So that one is a no-go. So that's in the no pile. No and yes pile. And there's these stickers. Got a yes pile and a no pile. Let's try the next one. A lot of people are using this friction pen. Wait, let me see if it goes to the back. Actually, about the same, but a little bit less, I would say. So let's see. So this is the friction pen 0.7. And this did smear in the last one. So if it smears in this one, I won't be surprised. So let's see. Here's the mild liner. Smeared minimally. But it did smear. But only a little bit. I think if I gave it a little longer to dry, it wouldn't have smeared. And then here's the Tombow. And it smeared quite a bit. So the Tombow is a no-go. One moment, I'm just cleaning off the tip, because I don't want any of that black to be on it. It will stain. All right, so that is in the no pile. That smeared. So here's a pen I didn't check in the other one, but it's one of my favorite pens to write with because I assumed it would smear, but this is a Gelocity from Bic. So Bic Gelocity. I don't see anybody actually using this, but I'm curious. It is a very juicy pen, so I assume that that is going to smear. I'm going to give that about 5 seconds to dry because it's still wet on the page. And I don't mind 5 seconds drying it. It did ghost quite a bit on the back side. Okay, so it's had like 5 seconds to dry. Actually, with that 5 seconds to dry, that did not smear. Look at that. I can't believe that. And it did smear a little bit with the Tombow. But with the mild liner, it did not smear. So I'm going to say that's a pass if you give it 5 seconds to dry. Maybe if I'd have given it 10, the Tombow, I mean, that's acceptable. I would highlight on top of that. That I couldn't believe. Okay, so here's one of the popular pens as well. This is the Energel Cleana, and this is a 0.3. I doubt that this will smear, as it did not smear last time, and this is one of the things I use in my planner all the time. Did not smear with the mild liner. Let's see about the Tombow. Minimally, like not enough to discourage me from using. And if I'd have given it a few seconds to dry, but the highlighter one is fine. I'm just trying the Tombows to try them. So I'm going to say this is a pass, the 0.3. Here is the Sarasa Mark-On 0.5. Because I know a lot of people use this, myself including. This is one of my main pens. These two are my main pens that I write my planner with, along with the 5.0 version of this, which I will also swatch. Where did it go? Here's the 5.0. I'll try it in a minute. So I'm going to try my Mark-On now, and this is a 0.5. Here's my mild liner. Did not smear. Here is my Tombow. Did not smear, so that is a pass. The Sarasa Mark-On passed. Now I'm going to try the 0.5 Cleana. And like I said, I've already been using these in my Hobonichi Weeks and Cousin, and I haven't had any problems. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to pull this washi off that's bothering me. For the purpose of this, we're going to do it anyway. So here is the mild liner. And it did not smear the mild liner. And here is the Tombow. I feel like that smeared a little right there. Just a little smidge right there. But it's passable, like I would use it. Because mostly I'm going to use the mild liner to highlight anyway. So that's a pass. Let's try this one. I think this one will probably be fine. The Stabilo Fine 0.4. Stabilo, and this is the 88. And it's 0.4. That's their fine liners. I use these a lot in my planners as well, so I can only assume that it'll be okay. But I don't really highlight on top of my stuff much, and if I do, like, I'm using this one. So anyway, let's see how this one works. It did not smear with the mild liner. Let's see if it smears with Tombow. Minimally, like even less than the Cleana. So I think if I were to allow it to dry for like 10 seconds or 15 seconds, that would be fine. I'm gonna clean this Tombow off because I feel like it's dirty and it's like giving me the illusion of it smearing on some of them. But this one's a pass. The Stabilo 0.88 fine, that's a pass because it will highlight. The Tombow is just something I'm trying, but it will highlight because that was the actual question. Here is an Energel. I doubt this is going to pass because it's a 0.7, but we'll do it. And again, on my 0.7s, I'm going to give them about 5 seconds to dry because that is a more fair comparison because they are more inky. So I'm going to give that one a few seconds to dry. But I like these white versions of these. I mean, these write well on the planner. I mean, it looks great, but probably if I had it in a 0.5, I don't know that I have a 0.5 Energel pen in black. So wait, actually I do. Here's an Energel 0.5. I'll try that one also. So here's the 0.7. I've given it about 5 seconds. It's highlighter worthy. Well, let's see if it's Tombow worthy. Smears a smidge. Let me clean that off. Now let's try but it did pass the highlighter test if you give it 5 seconds. Now let's try the 0.5 Energel. Okay, and let's do the same thing and highlight it. Again, because I know that these are like juicy, I'm going to give it 5 seconds. Okay, so that should be good. Now I'm going to highlight. Did not smear with a highlighter. Let's see if it smears with a Tombow. And it didn't smear at all with the Tombow. So this one passes both the Tombow and the highlighter test. So the 0.5 Energel passes. Let's see how they're looking on the back. I haven't gotten any bleed through except on that Bic Gelosity. It looks like there's a little bleed through right there on that Bic Gelosity. The rest of them have not bled, but they do have quite a bit of ghosting, but I don't really care about ghosting. You can't use this kind of paper and like really care about ghosting. It just has never bothered me. So now let's go to the next pen. Let's see. Let's try my Twin Tone because this is a popular marker that I use personally and they're easy to come by. So this is a Tombow Twin Tone. And it does not say what point size it is. So I'm going to say it looks like a 0.38 if I had to guess. Now let's try the highlighter. Smeared a little bit. Now let's try the Tombow. And that smeared quite a bit. So that one's a no. So the Twin Tone is not working on this paper. So that's a no. That one failed. Failed both tests. And remember, I'm checking the highlighter test is what I'm saying pass or fail to. But the Tombow, I'm just doing just for your interest purposes since I'm already doing this. All right, so let me see. Are there any other pens that people use regularly? Let's use the Papermate. That's a pen people uses, the Ink Joy. I wish I had a 0.5 in this, but I do not. I only have the 0.7. But because this is super juicy, and I would never write in a Hobonichi with a 0.7. So I'm going to give that a full 5 seconds of dry time before I even attempt to write on top of that, because if it's a 0.7, like I did with my other 0.7s. But yeah, this is a good pen to write with, but like to me, this is too thick to write on this paper. I try only using the 0.5s or smaller. But you can do whatever you want. If 0.7 is your jam, you go for it. But I mean, I might write a title or something with this, but I'm going to highlight if I did. So I think I've given that sufficient dry time. So let's see. It did pass the highlighter test. Let's see if it passes the Tombow test. It smeared a little bit, but it's doable. I think if I gave it like 10 seconds instead, it might have passed. So that's a pass on the highlighter test is what I was checking. And I'm actually surprised that passed the highlighter test. That surprised me. Let's see, what else do we have? Here is a ballpoint pen, a Uniball Signo. I think it is, but this might be a gel pen. I'm not sure. Uniball Signo, it's a 207. Signo, yeah, I think it's gel. Feels like gel. 207, but I could be wrong. Because it's kind of like in between gel and, I can't tell if that's gel or ballpoint. Let me see what it says. Uniball, it doesn't say. But anyway, this pen writes really well. It's one of the pens that I use if I'm like doing regular paperwork. Okay, so because it's a 0.7, I'm going to give it like the 5 seconds of dry time. So give me a few more seconds here before I highlight. And it's smeared. So again, it didn't smear a lot though, so I think if you gave that a full 10 seconds, it would be fine. The mild liner did pretty good. I mean, the Tombow did pretty good. It smeared just a smidgen, but again, I think if you gave it the full 10 seconds of dry time instead of 5 like I did, I think it would be okay. But this did not pass in theory because it did smear that highlighter. So I'm going to put that in the did not pass pile. Let me see what else. Let me use this True Red pen. This is from Staples. So True Red. And this is the 0.5. It's one of my favorite pens. It's a knockoff of Tool pens. T-U-L with the little like long vowel sound on the U. And I like these because they're significantly cheaper than Tool pens, but write exactly the same. I do have some Tool pens, but I don't have any 0.5 Tool pens. I only have 0.7. So let's see how this worked. Let's try the highlighter. It is highlighter worthy. Oops, almost highlighted twice. Let's try the Tombow. It did not pass the Tombow test. It's a little smeary at the end, but it's passable. Again, if you gave it like 10 seconds, it might be okay. So that did pass the highlighter test though. So that is highlighterable. And that was the Staples brand. It's called True Red 0.5. Let's see, is there anything else in here? Let's try the Simply Gilded ones. We probably all have a lot of these. I don't know what point size it is. If I had to guess, it's like either a 0.5 or a 0.7. This one though, because it might be a 0.7, I'm going to give it a full 5 seconds to dry because it's a very juicy pen. And I don't think 5 seconds is like unreasonable to give a pen to dry. So it's been about 5 seconds now. So let's highlight. It's smeared. It's smeared on the other paper too. So let me clean off my tip. Hold on. And then let me try the Tombow, which by now has had a 10-second dry time. It smeared the Tombow as well, so that is a fail. So the Simply Gilded failed. Let's see, is there any, oh, this one was a ballpoint pen, which I'm sure it's going to pass. Papermate. I hate ballpoint pens. But these are what I used to give out to like the kids at school when they needed a pen, 1.0. But in case you like ballpoint pens, I'll try a ballpoint pen. It will probably pass without me even waiting. And it passed the highlighter test. Let's see if it passes the Tombow test. Yes, it does. So this Papermate, super cheap. You can get like 12 of these for like $1 or $2 or something like that. That passed really well. So if you want to write with a ballpoint pen, that one's a good one. Let's see, here's a Zebra Z-Grip Medium. This is also a ballpoint pen. They don't write very good on this Zebra Z-Grip. Ballpoint pens don't write good on this paper. Or maybe that ballpoint pen, I mean, it writes good here, but I don't know when I'm like writing letters, it does not want to write. Oh, it's because I was pushing too hard. It seems to write fine now. Don't push hard on ballpoint. Anyway, I doubt this will smear. And a no. And a no. That did not smear. So if you like these pens, they work fine. Here's a palette flare. A paper make flare. So I'm going to put flare. I'm pretty sure this is going to smear. If it doesn't smear, I'd be surprised. Let's see how the bleed through is on that, because I'm going to give it a few seconds to dry anyway, because it's like a 0.8 or something. Actually, it didn't bleed, and it doesn't have very much ghosting compared to some of the other ones. That Inkjoy ghosted a lot. Wow. The Inkjoy and the Signo did too. All right, so now let's try it. Now let's add a little bit to dry. It smeared. Not a lot, but it did smear. Probably if you gave it another 5 seconds, it might not. And then here is the Tombow, and it did smear. I figured it would, but tried it anyway. Okay, so that is in the nope category, so the flare pens does not work. However, if you're not going to highlight on it, it's provided the least amount of ghosting, other than the friction pen, which I don't like the friction pens at all, but that might be your thing. Now let's do the micron pens, and I'm just going, after I write the word micron, I'm just going to put the sizes because I have multiple sizes here. The smallest one I have is a 0.2, so micron, 02. Don't use the 02 much, except in my Hobonichi maybe occasionally. And I can highlight directly on top of these. I don't have to wait. They don't. They are good. They don't smear as far as I know. And no, they do not smear. And I'm just going to put 03. I'm going to highlight under it because I don't want to like highlight directly on top of that. So that's the 03. So here we go. That did not smear. I'll highlight on both of them just for the point of it. Did not smear. Did not smear. So that is good. Let's see how the bleed through is looking. Actually, that has very little shattering and no bleed through. So I got the 03 and I also have an 05. So these both passed. They passed on the other paper, so I'm not surprised. I'm gonna skip a line this time because I forgot to skip a line last time. Let's see. I'll clean that tip off with a little black. There we go. Did not smear. Did not smear. So the 05 passed as well. If you would like to know if there an 08 passes, I think I have an 08 in here. Yep, here's an 08. If you want to see that. I'm betting this is gonna both bleed and smear. Let me check on the other side and see if it's bleeding. Actually, it did not. It shadowed more like the other pens, but did not bleed. So let's see if it smears. Because it's an 08, I'm going to give it like 5 seconds, just because it's all of the larger tips I gave 5 seconds. Okay, so that should be good. Did not smear. Did not smear. So that passed as well. So all of the micron pens that I tried all the way up to 08 passed. Now let's try the micro perm. I have 3 of those. So micro perm. This is 01. I doubt that these smear. got a hair on that. I doubt that they smear because they did not smear on the others. The question is whether or not they bleed through. See, those like are instant. I didn't even have to wait. Don't have to think about waiting, and they bleed. It did not bleed onto this page, but it did bleed through the back of that one. But they bled on the other paper too. So, but it is highlighter worthy. So if you want to highlight, it works. And again, I'm just going to put 03 because it's the same. And I'm going to go ahead and write the other one while I'm doing it so I can highlight them both at the same time. And 05. Because I know they're not going to have a highlighter issue. None of them had a highlighter issue on the last paper. I don't have any reason why they would this time. So none of those have highlighter issues. All the microperms pass, just so you know. Now let's see about bleeding. They all bled through. None of them bled through to this page, but they did all bleed through onto this page. So yeah, that would be a problem for me. But like I said, they write great on that slick sticker paper, which is the only reason that I have them, is to write on that slick sticker paper. Now I just have a couple more of the, here's a Faber-Castell artist pen. These are all brush pens. And I'm just going to write over here. Oh, this is not even black. This is gray. Just curious if it bleeds. Nope, it didn't. I thought that was black. That's my bad. It looked black to me. Pass. I already did this one and it didn't bleed. So that's pretty much it. So I will recoup all of the pens that passed the smear test. So here we go. All of the micron passed all the way up to 0.8, as well as the microperm. All of these passed. All the microns, all the microperms passed. So you have no issue with any of those. You can use any of those pens. Here is what they look like on the other side. The micron did not ghost very much at all, like the least ghosting. The microperm do bleed through. Okay. The Hobonichi pen passed. It did not smear and with either marker, and it has minimal ghosting on the back. That's a pass. Energel 0.5 passed, as well as if you, where's the other Energel? I guess the other, oh, here's the other Energel. The Energel 0.7 and 0.5 passed, as long as you give them 5 seconds of dry time. Give them 5 seconds of dry time and they will highlight and be good. All right, so velocity, same thing, 5 minutes of dry time, 5 seconds of dry time, and this one passed. Both cleanup pens, 0.3 and 0.5 passed. I think I gave them like maybe 3 seconds of dry time. The Sarasa dry pen, or excuse me, Sarasa mark-on pen, 0.5 passed. It passed with both, and I don't think I gave it but like 3 seconds to dry, or whatever, how long it took me to do it. The Papermate Right Rose, what is this called? Ballpoint pen, 1.0 passed with 0 dry time. The Zebra ballpoint pen, Z-Grip medium point, passed, no dry time. The Stabilo 0.88, it passed the highlighter test, but not the Tombow test. So, but if you give it about 5 seconds to dry, I think you'll be fine with that one. The True Red, if you give it 5 seconds to dry, it passes. The Papermate Ink Joy, if you give it about 7 or 8 seconds to dry, it passes. So there we go. There are all of your pen tests that you have. And here are the 2 markers that I use to highlight with. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Make sure you got all of this in frame so you can see them all in case you wanted to screenshot it. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Like and subscribe. Make more requests in the comment if you want. But this is, in fact, the 2024 paper. And now I have my pen test page like already in here. Again, here is the ghosting side if you want to see the ghosting. It does ghost more. I will see if I can find the ghosting on the other one. Let's see. I think it's in June that I did it. 1 moment, please. There's the ghosting for that one. Here is the ghosting for last year's. Now this does not have grid on the back, so you can kind of see the difference. Like, it ghosted quite a bit more this year than last. Well, maybe it didn't. It looks pretty similar now that they're right beside each other. It's not that bad. I think it's just your imagination, because it looks pretty similar when I held them right beside each other. So there we go. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.